I'm going to call the meeting of the Development Review Board on October 21st. And could somebody say what time it is? Because I forgot to put on my watch.
7:14.
7:14. Okay. Before I read the standard chair's opening remarks, I wanted to go around and have us introduce ourselves, the members of the board, because we haven't met in person for a really long time, and we have 2 new members.
Oh.
And where's Margaret's disappeared? There she is.
I'm still here.
Did you hear that, Margaret?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll start with Michael.
Michael Averill. I have a degreed engineer in both mechanical and civil engineering, and I guess I had a engineering firm doing land development for the last 15 years, and the reason why I'm sitting on the board is kind of winding down my engineering business and thought it was time to give something back to the community.
Nora?
All right. So I've been on the DRB for about a year, and I was an alternate for about 6 months before that. Let's say I'm retired, and I left my job. I was a data scientist in the insurance business, and I have I'm a certified property casualty underwriter. In addition to the data science stuff, I have a master's in organizational development. And the kind of the same reasons I'm on the board, as Michael said, it was kind of time to give back to the community.
Margaret?
My name is Margaret Shugart. I'm an attorney at Costello, Valente, and Gentry. James Valente suggested that I apply to the board. I'm very interested in property law. I've been doing quite a bit of real estate and the crazy real estate boom going on. So I'm excited to be here and to learn, and also hopefully be able to give back.
Eric?
Well, okay. I've basically been a Brattleboro resident all my life, except for active duty in the military and college. That was a town meeting rep forever. Could not do that anymore. So I figured to give back to Brattleboro. I am on the board of listers and the DRB. I'm a former contractor and a facility manager in Brattleboro.
Catherine?
Catherine Turnus. Been living in Brattleboro for about 13 years now. I know that you don't consider it a Vermonter yet, but hey, what the heck, I do anyway. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I work with CCTV. I'm presently on the board of Brattleboro Senior Meals. I have been on the DRB, I think, for feel like eternity. On both alternate and 3-year. I don't know, several other boards around, just, retired, so I do what I want to do.
John?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jon Knickerbocker. I'm not retired. I am a self-employed architect. I have a office downtown in the Snow Block. I used to work at Stevens and Associates and left that company about 1.5 years ago. I've worked on projects such as Snow Block, Great River Terrace. I'm currently engaged through the Housing Trust to renovate the Municipal Center, among other projects in town. I'm also from Southern Vermont, grew up in Dover and from here. So, joining this board to contribute to this community that I want to be in for the next 30 or 40 or however many more years. But I'm also first contact for my clients regarding zoning regulations. So this is also an opportunity for me to learn more.
Okay. And I'm Maya Hasagawa, and I'm currently the chair of the board. I think I'm in my second 3-year term, and I was an alternate before that. Before I retired and moved to Vermont, I worked for the Department of Neighborhood Development in Boston, and I had a lot to do with both HUD regulations and local zoning requirements and development projects and approving them. So when I moved to Brattleboro and I read in the paper there was a vacancy to be an alternate, I think Eric and I showed up at the same time to the select board, and they interviewed us, and I guess the two of us got picked to be alternates, and then we applied for regular positions. So I appreciate everybody being willing to share a little bit, and I'm going to start the formal part of the meeting. Margaret and John, just so you know, that second link that was sent this afternoon is in case we decide we want to deliberate about this particular project kind of in private. Still recorded and everything, but it won't be public. And somebody would make a motion to go into deliberative session. We would close this part of the meeting. We'd all go back on the other link. And then at the end of that, we would vote, and Brian would write up a decision, which would then be public. So that's how that works. When we met live, we would just adjourn to another room.
Oh, so that original link I couldn't get on was the link we used for deliberative.
Right.
Ah.
You weren't the only one, so.
I was.
Don't feel bad, Catherine.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to read my spiel. Jon Knickerbocker, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, because you're the member, the person that has to swear in the middle of my remarks.
Very good.
Okay. At the DRB, we hear applications for land development in the town of Brattleboro and appeals of zoning administrator decisions. Procedurally, the Development Review Board operates on the record. Broadly, this means we take a clear record of testimony from the applicant and any interested parties, and then issue a written decision with our findings. Applicants and members of the public should be aware that as we are on the record, this is your opportunity to comment on and provide evidence relating to an application. In the event our decision is appealed to the environmental court, the court will not take or consider additional testimony at its hearing, but will look at the evidence from our hearing, the regulations, and determine if the evidence supports the findings and the decision of this board. Only interested parties participating in this procedure may appeal a decision made by the board, so I strongly encourage all of you to speak up at this hearing. I don't think we have any members of the public present. Do we, Andrew? Or Brian? I don't see anybody.
No, we do not. And I don't see any in the waiting room.
Okay, thank you. As we are on the record, we are going to ask that you affirm that your testimony will be truthful. So, Jon Knickerbocker, I'd like you to affirm the following. I hereby affirm that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I will.
Thank you. Applicants require a majority vote of the full board to succeed. This is 4 votes out of 7. And we have a full board tonight, right? But if we didn't have a full board present, we would consider a request to continue our application to the next public meeting. After taking testimony, the board will close the public hearing and may vote on your application. The board will issue a written decision within 45 days of the close of the hearing. While we may vote on an application, it is the written decision that controls the timeline for appeal. It should be noted that the town of Brattleboro is a party with an interest in land development applications. The town does not have a special status before this board. Documents provided to the board by the town planning department, town attorney, or other town departments will be considered in exactly the same way as information from the applicant and all other interested parties. Okay. Has anybody recently read the minutes from our July 15th meeting? And if so, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Catherine. Eric. All in favor of approving the minutes of July 15th? Please indicate by raising your hand.
Hold on, I gotta get my picture up so you can see my hand.
Okay, I think we have 2 abstentions, right? Okay. Did you get that, Brian?
Yes.
Okay. See, all interested parties took the oath. Brian, has the meeting been properly warned?
Yes, it has.
Has anybody have any conflict of interest or had any ex parte communications with the applicant? Okay. So there are no conflicts of interest or ex parte communications. And I'm sorry, my cat is about to enter the picture, I think. Okay. So we have his 2020-98 Jon Knickerbocker Neighborhood Center District request for flood hazard approval to build a 14 by 24 foot, 336 square foot freestanding 1-car garage in the flood fringe of a special flood hazard area at 451 Putney Road. John, do you want to, I'm sorry you don't have any video, but can you talk to us about your project?
Yes, I'd be happy to. What would you like to know?
Well, just describe a little more what you're planning to do, where it's located.
Okay, as the description, it's 14 by 24 foot garage. It'll be just off of my driveway. The area in question is close to the, oh, okay, you've got the map, the diagram right there. Okay. You can see where the proposed garage is in relationship to my house. We're 165 feet back from the bank of the river. Putney Road is, I believe, 65 feet away. And the substructure will be concrete and pressure treated lumber. The concrete will consist of, by the driveway, a poured concrete foundation, and then down on the lower part of the, okay, now you can see it. You'll see the easy pier concrete footings with galvanized plates to attach the 8x8 posts. So that'll be the substructure of the 14 by 24 garage. And the garage actually is going to be a Jamaica cottage shop kit, which will be, I'll be assembling that myself. The substructure will be done by Evans Construction, the concrete work and all the beams and so on. They'll be doing all that.
Okay. Questions from the board? Eric?
Hey, John, what's the elevation above the West River?
Elevation of the
Garage.
actual build.
Yeah, the
Garage
foundation.
itself. It's shown right there. Brian, maybe you can help out on that one. I can't quite see the.
Yeah, I can't quite see it here. The floor is about 4 feet above base flood elevation for the site.
Yeah, so it's the base flood elevation is 232, and then the floor is at 238.
Okay.
Then the actual the height of the if you go back to the diagram showing, yes, this one here, there's approximately 7 feet from the ground down to the water, the edge of the water.
Okay.
If that was your question on the lower part.
More or less, yeah.
Catherine?
You're on mute, Catherine.
Catherine?
Catherine, you're on mute. Catherine, you're still
Never
on mute.
mind.
There you go.
All right. I'm going to hold it. Oh, you can't see it. There's another diagram in the package that we received, which to me makes a lot more sense than the drawings. Do you know which one I'm referring to? Looks like it's the second page of the attachment. Not that. Yes, that. Okay. No, back to the other one. Yeah, right there. If you go to the top of, it says existing log cabin.
Right.
Okay. Is that what you're extending?
No, that's my home.
Okay. So where's the garage?
That'll be to the left of the log of the home, the log cabin.
So that would be over there. So it does go over the water line?
No, it does not.
It appears,
It certainly appears to.
yes.
But it does not.
Is that the water line? Is that your your line to provide
Oh, is that
water
the
to
town
your
sewer
house?
line? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my town water into the house. Okay.
Right. Sorry about that. So the brook or the water line, the water part that you're going to try to extend over, or according to this,
Say again.
you're extending it. It says in here that you're extending it. I mean, the garage was never there. You did never have one, or you're making it larger.
Oh, I never had one.
Okay, somehow I must have been misreading the information then, because it sounded like you were going to go near the water table where you weren't supposed to be.
No, we're not going to be in the water at all.
Okay.
So, Nora,
Okay, John, are you gonna have power and heat to this garage?
Just power for lights and some outlets.
So what I didn't get a sense of is how visible is this garage from the road, from Putney Road?
It'll be partially visible, but there'll be trees and growth hiding it from, for the most part, from Putney Road, at least when the leaves are out. It'll be more visible, of course, after they drop.
Can I ask those little little circle things on this map? Are those trees?
They were, but we had a wind shear come through in 2017 and took all my shade trees out. So they are now no more, except for one. There's one tree. Actually, there's two trees that are still there. That will not be touched. But the wind shear took out about 20 trees off my property.
So will that tree stay there, or will you be taking it down?
Oh no, the trees will stay there that are there at the present time. Now, we have no intention of taking those down.
Catherine.
I found what I was looking for. If you go to the initial paperwork that we received, it says Neighborhood Center District request for flood hazard approval to build a 14 by 24 foot, 336 foot freestanding one-car garage in the flood fringe of a special flood hazard area there. So that's what I was referring to. And how would that impact what that says? And I guess I'm going to ask Brian.
I'm not sure what your question is, Catherine.
My question is this going to infringe on this flood fringe of a special flood hazard area?
Yep, it's going to be located in the flood fringe of a special flood hazard area. And that's an area that tends to have lower velocity flows and tends to have inundation flooding, so more or less standing water. And given that this is in the cove, that's almost certainly going to be the case here, where you have inundation without a good deal of scour or velocity flows. But because it's on piers and there'll be no fill, there'll be very minor impact on base flood elevations, and it's probably actually going to be pretty much negligible.
Can somebody show the FEMA map? Maybe that'll help Catherine understand where it is.
Give me a sec to get it up.
Sure.
I think if you zoom the picture out a little bit, it might be more relative. You get a better feel for it.
While he's working on that, John, can you tell us if there's any place else that you could cite your garage that's not in the special flood area?
Given our limited space and the elevation to meet the driveway, there is not.
On one of the pictures, there's supply building.
Yes.
Is there any reason why the garage couldn't be built next to that?
We use that as utility space. We set up a tent during the summer months, to run our canoe kayak business out of there.
Because that would put you out of the flood zone, right?
Yes, it would. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question in the meantime as well?
Sure.
I saw on one of I think the first sheet, maybe of the attachments, that it is next to a Class 2 wetland. Do you anticipate any impact on the wetland?
No impact on the wetland other than the concrete piers will be, at the 7-foot mark, or the top of them will be the 7-foot mark above the water.
It's okay. On this map, it says 451, and then there's a building, and that's where you live, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and you're planning to build a garage
Just
where?
to the left of it.
To the left of it.
Yeah, right about where your arrow is. Yeah.
So it's gonna, like the house, it's gonna infringe on the yellow, which is part of a floodway.
Flood fringe.
Flood, yeah, flood fringe.
Right.
And to answer your question, Margaret, the I'm trying to read the whatchamacallit, the color code, but where it's pink and kind of brownish, that
Pink
becomes a floodway.
Is the floodway. Yep, floodway.
So that's how close it is.
Right. It'll be in the yellow, like the front of the house.
Have you had problems with flooding at your house?
Our big test was Irene, and the water came up probably around 7 feet from where it is normally, and we had no issues, no problems at all with flooding. Although I must concede it made me a little bit nervous the next day watching the water level rise.
Sure.
So is your garage going to be tall enough at 7 feet? You said the piers are 7 feet.
That's just the top of the pier. The garage will actually be considerably higher. When we construct it, there'll be nothing in the water. And the top of the lowest pier would be 7 feet above the water level.
Does anybody have any other questions?
I have actually a question for Brian in a way. So this would put a garage between the house and Putney Road. Is there so in this zoning area, regardless of the flooding issues, is that an issue? And the frontage of the garage being visible from the road, and it's a flat surface and all that sort of thing. Can you talk about that, Brian?
If it wasn't a residential neighborhood, it would have to be behind the house front line. It's in a neighborhood center district, and it doesn't have that standard. And it's also complicated somewhat because it's a mixed use site with residential and commercial use on it. So there are already a number of utility structures between the house and the road.
Thank you.
To speak to Margaret's question, it is outside the wetland buffer.
And my other question was the portion of your house that falls into the yellow zone, is it also lifted on piers?
That portion is actually the front supports for the porch are on concrete piers, yes. Then there's a full foundation under the rest of it.
And the porch section is what is in the yellow area?
Yeah, the outer edge of it, yes. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that would be pretty close to what the dimensions of the porch are. Looking at the image we have now.
So where is this the other building that you can see on the upper edge? Is that your utility shed?
Where are you? Let's see. The utility shed's down back. I'm not.
So
Doesn't show on this drawing.
it doesn't show. There's another structure up at the top of this picture. You can see part of the structure.
We'd have to go back to the plan view to see that.
I was just trying to figure out where it is relative to the flood zone. Catherine.
It looks like an L shape. I know what you mean, Maya. It's one goes straight down, the other one goes this way. It looks like an extra little square shape.
Up at the top, right?
Yeah. Which image there is the house, and which image is the one that's heading over to the right?
The L shape is the house.
So the garage would go. Ooh, that little pointer would be very nice. The garage would go where? Right there? Ah, okay.
Right,
Thank
well,
you.
I've got my pointer right about where the garage would be.
Thank you, little pointer.
If you go a little bit to the left, you'll be more, well, you're close. Yeah, right about there.
So it's not going to go any further, encroach any further than the one to the right of it, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, nice. So Brian, with this structure, he'll have to put in the battery charging, car battery charging, correct?
Yeah, so for single family garages, they need to put in a power circuit that can support a charger in future. And they have a choice to do one that would support kind of slow charging or one that would do a faster level 2 charging. So the advantage of the solar is that you can use it like an ordinary outlet you would. And so it's more useful in the short term.
So I'm a little confused about the business here. So this is a business and a home, and it seems to me to be more than just a home-based business that we see often, and that you do in season get a lot of people in here. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Michael, did you have a question?
Yes, I actually had a couple of them. Are you planning on adding any exterior lighting?
No, I am not.
Okay, well, that solves that question. And when we first were looking at the plan view, if any of I was having a problem getting your sketch to cooperate with the showing of the existing structure, but it looks as if you're going to be coming very close to, if not overshadowing, your municipal water line that comes to the house.
It will be roughly, I'm 6 feet away. I mean, the edge of the garage foundation will be approximately 6 feet from the water line.
And do you know how deep that is, or is it insulated in that area?
It's well below frost line. DMI, Dave Manning, installed that 15 years ago.
Can we go back to the sketch, Andrew?
Give me a sec.
Sure.
Which sketch would you like?
That one.
Okay.
Well, that one, and compare that to the just a small sketch that shows the building and yeah, it looks as if the garage is.
And can you go back to the, I need to clarify something. Can you go back? Okay, where it shows the water line coming into the middle of the cabin,
Yeah.
that was actually rerouted and coming in. Can you see my arrow?
Mm-hmm.
That was rerouted and it comes in at the back of the cabin now, so it's quite a bit further back than what you're seeing in that drawing.
Okay, that I was concerned because.
Yeah, no, it would have been way too close. You're right.
Well, no. I mean, well, you were going to be digging near it for one thing, but if you get rid of any possibility of snow load over the top of it, the frost will tend to reach deeper.
Right. Actually, I think it parallels the sewer line exactly. I think it's like 4 feet away. There's some minimum. Maybe you guys know better than I do the minimum distance you can have between a sewer and water line, but it does parallel the sewer line.
So where does it enter the existing log cabin now?
Right in the backside.
Backside. I'm confused.
In the back of the cabin.
Okay, by where the porch is?
No, opposite where you're pointing. There you are. Yeah, that side of the cabin.
Oh, so it's no longer in the area that's shown on the drawing.
No, this drawing is, I'm not sure where that came from. I guess it's an old drawing. It's, yeah.
That's 2003.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, when they did the things, we had to tweak it and move it to the back because, it just made more sense.
Well, that solves that problem completely then.
Yeah, the drawing's just not accurate.
So I'd like to go back to whether there's any other possible place you could put this, which is one of the questions I think we have to answer. That you've considered every possible place you could put it outside of the floodway, infringing on the floodway, on the special flood hazard zone.
If this particular drawing, like say, where it says wooded, that's actually high ledge right in there. It was wooded until the wind shear came through a couple of years ago, but the wind shear tore the trees down.
So that's ledge.
Yes.
You're saying. Okay. Correct. And the only flat area is where you have the supply building.
That's correct. Yes.
And you said you don't want to put anything there because you use a tent in the summertime?
Well, we have 2 tents we set up for our life jackets and rental equipment. And it's, that area gets used, 100% during the warm weather months when we operate our business.
Are there any other questions? Margaret or John? Are they still around? I can't see them.
They're still on.
I don't have any questions.
I have none.
I'm done.
Mm-hmm. I'm fine.
Okay. Are we ready to vote or do we want to talk about it some more?
I don't know. I think he
can vote.
answered our questions.
What?
I think that my questions have been answered, so I don't know about anyone else.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, let's see, have we added any other conditions other than the ones added in the,
It looks like we lost Margaret.
yeah, we did.
Oops.
Here she comes.
There she comes. Margaret?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty.
Okay. Do you have your video on? There we go. Okay. I was just saying, I don't think there are any other conditions other than the ones that were listed in the draft decision, unless anybody else can think of any. No? Nora?
No, I don't mean.
No, good.
Okay. So somebody make a motion to approve, what is this? Application 2020-98.
I so move.
Well,
Oh, I make a motion to approve application 2020-98.
with conditions,
I didn't know there were any.
I did say the charger.
Oh, well, yeah, but that was that's in the future. Is that actually now mandatory that he does it now?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's putting in electric to the garage.
Okay.
We will put the charge.
The conditions are listed on page 5 of the draft decision,
Yeah.
which everybody sent. So I don't think we had any additional to add to that. It includes a charger, Nora.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I guess the only other condition he mentioned that he was not going to add any external lighting. I don't know whether we want to codify that or not.
Well, it says that if he does do it, it has to be fully shielded, etc. The standard thing we say about exterior lighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if he he decided to do it in the future, he'd have to follow that. Is that correct, Brian?
Yeah, it is. And if you make it a condition, it's not something that I can administratively amend in future. So if he wanted to put a spotlight on it, he would actually have to come back before the board. So it's probably best to leave it open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? So, Catherine, your motion includes these conditions?
Well, yeah, the conditions are that he install a future electric car plug-in. Is that it?
You can just say conditions as drafted.
Conditions is drafted.
Second,
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor of approving, please raise your hand so I can see you. Okay, that's 6. Opposed? No abstentions. So, this has been approved by a vote of 6 to 1 to 0. Is there any other business to come before the review board? Jon Knickerbocker, you should be getting a written decision within the next 2 weeks. Brian?
Yeah, it should be ready as soon as you're ready to sign it and review it.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there any other business?
I move we adjourn.
I'd like to
Thank
thank
you,
everybody
Eric.
for their time this evening. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric.
Well,
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning until
Bye.
next month. Bye.
Bye.
cheerio.